We're gonna do 2 more roads tonight, but this is probably gonna be a new video. So I was thinking about I don't know how I want to get to the ending yet. The ending is not clear to me yet. Look at this great looking brook we're going past here. Beautiful, right? The ending isn't really clear to me yet. I want to tell a story about injuries. And I grew up, I spent from age 2 to 21 in martial arts class that my dad teaches, and half martial arts, half spiritual leadership. And it wasn't just, one hour every Wednesday for 20 years. It was like Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2 to 4 hours. And then Saturday from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then in addition to that, surfing in the mornings with Dad, and then also working out before classes, and stretching and yoga and meditation and other stuff too. So it was probably a 40-hour-a-week regimen I grew up with on mind, body, and spirit with my dad. And we've had some really great injuries over the years. That sounds bad, but we had some really phenomenal ones. And oh yes, there's the Class 6 road, and then there's the other road that goes up. So these both go 25A, I think. So let's see how they go. I think it's called Moseley Road. I haven't even heard of Quintown, but it's up. Quintown is up here. It's like there's probably nothing back here but houses, but it's not Orford, it's not Lyme. It's its own town. But anyway, and I'll change some of these names to protect the innocent, but I'll go backwards in time a little bit. One time my dad was diving over you dive over think of like how low can you go, whatever that game is. As a kid, you're backwards, but we would dive over them and roll out of it. And so it's a left, that's the other road. This is the Class 6 road. I don't think that's going to work for us, but let's go there for a second and see what we can actually see. It looks like it goes back there. There's a rock here. Guys, what do you think? I'm going to go for it, but how many ticks are we going to get on us in this road, guys? How many ticks are we going to get? I mean, someone's been back here recently. This is it. Huh. All right, let's go back a little bit and change our angle here. Should I have gotten my tripod out and set this up better? We're probably going to bottom out on this thing. Can't go back now though. This is, by the way, this is like a 20-degree drop here. We're probably going to bottom out. Yeah, we're in a rut now. We're in a brook rut. I'm gonna get off the bike. We're here. Look at this. Look at this. Might have to like put it sideways and drag it out. Oh, there we go. Okay, now the back end's in the rut. All right, cool. We good. And there's straight up Christmas trees growing on this road. When they say not maintained, I'm not kidding. So my dad was diving over this like 7-foot tall pole into a roll, and we don't fasten any of our mats or rugs down, so the rug slipped off from under him. Shit. And he scraped basically his entire skin of his face off badly. And of course kept teaching, not because he's a badass, but because, you know, you're the instructor. You got to keep going. I'm gonna get stuck in this, guys. What do you think? We're just gonna let's take an opportunity here to get a photo of this madness that we found ourselves in. We're turning around. I'm not gonna keep going on this. But it is kind of funny though. This is ridiculous. Not all Class 6 roads are still navigable. Even when they're not gated off. And then another time was, let's call him Lewis. Let's call him Lou. It's a good name for him. Woo! It's not too bad down here. We're definitely covered in ticks right now. So, Lou once was, we train with real swords when someone gets to a certain level. And the goal is to feel the intention of your attacker, to feel their move. Their eyes, their body language, you know, good swordsmen, women, will not indicate their attack as much. Can we go through here? We should walk it first, but basically walked it. That was a complete waste of time. I really honestly should have known better. I do know better. Let's look for ticks real quick though. Sorry, just want to make sure I don't get any surprises when I get home. More than usual. I mean, like glaring, obvious ticks. Because I don't want Lyme disease. Despite my recent actions. Okay. I don't see anything glaring. So, does this go anywhere? There's another road. Oh, that was fun. Weird. Never had it die on me like that before. Well, I have, but it was an expensive fix. So anyway, so Lou was supposed to drop when the guy swung at his head. Now, we didn't decapitate Lou. Lou didn't die, but Lou did get scalped. Now, Lou did not continue the class. He had, you know, when you have a head wound, the blood goes everywhere. And obviously everyone signs a waiver. So, you know, Lou ended up, but for the record, Lou had done this a ton of times. So it's not like he was an amateur. He just, I'll get to the ending in a second, but there's just Lou. And then once Adam was, you know, supposed to really attack me. This is another Adam. I'm making up names as I go. Supposed to really attack me. And he got me pretty good. It's surprise attacks. The way it works when you're at a certain level is, you know, we have kind of open rules where you can be attacked by anyone in the gym anytime, anywhere, and you know, you kind of agree to it. And so, you know, we don't do it in restaurants, but you can have it anytime. Anyway, you're supposed to defend yourself. But the problem is, I guess I can see the flaw in this now. I'm playing it now. We still do it, but is that you don't really know that it's someone from the gym attacking you. It could be anyone, and so obviously you're going to defend yourself. And so this stranger, like, came up from behind, pushed me against the wall, and then grabbed my arms and put me up against the wall. And what's there in front of me? Well, his ears are right there. So I cut my hands and I hit both of his ears as hard as I can. Luckily, due to my own amateur hour, I missed his ear drums, the ear holes, by like a smidge. I really ended up clapping the top of his earlobes, but it was just enough pressure to bust one of his eardrums. Very expensive ordeal. He signed a waiver, but you know, obviously we kept training together. There was no bad blood or anything. It was just part of the thing. Then there's let's see, Roger. Well, there's a moment when I swear we're getting somewhere, but this is entertaining. It should be entertaining enough. There was a moment when I was at a level in class I was never, I never got my black belt, by the way. It's a lot of reasons. I won't go into that in this series. I'm over it. Long time's passed. But you get to a certain level, which I guess is a brown belt or whatever you want to call it. Doesn't really matter. It's below black belt. Black belt is complete mastery. I think my dad did it for 30 years before he got his. It's quite intense. But anyway, I left before I could test for it. So anyway, at the brown belt level, you are leading the class. You're not only the uke or the training partner for the sensei, which is my dad, who never pulled any punches with me. Definitely not. But you also have a standard of the way you live your life, professionalism, what you carry yourself, your deeds, your spirituality, your kindness, and never losing a fight. And so, I feel like in many scenarios, I took that, and I was demoted for a couple of years because I was just completely in a shit place mentally. So that's what we're gonna do. And just wasn't focused. I wasn't giving my all. I remember I'm going to like 20 hours a week of these classes, and so just wasn't giving it my all. Okay, so there's Forest Talisman. That is a dirt road. We're not doing the next. We can do the next one. Let's do Dame Hill Road next, because that'll take us where we want to go. So, what this meant, in just a basic in class standpoint, is that I had an uke every night that I would practice with different people. I'd float around because part of it's instruction, but it also gets them exposed to the way I do things, and I do things very similar to my dad did, because obviously I was his right-hand person. But obviously people didn't feel comfortable like giving it their all with him, so they would give it their all with me, because everyone wants to take down the senpai of the class. And so not only was everyone trying harder with me, but also learning from me, I wasn't allowed to lose. And so there's no exceptions made for me screwing up in that class. We're gonna go up here and we're gonna try to find this little yellow trail. If we can't find it, we'll just backtrack to Dane Hill Road. So we started incorporating a bit of ground fighting, because all fights go to the ground eventually, unless you shoot someone. But like all fist fights, a physical altercation will go to the ground eventually. And so we're going to take a right on Indian Pond Road. Okay. Then we're going to try to find Sunday Mountain Trail, which may have a sign for no motorized traffic, which is what I'm expecting to see. We had a couple of guys, Mark, who was a retired ranger, excellent fighter, remarkable fighter. The longest fight I ever had in that class was with him, of all the years I practiced. This is it here. Let's see what it says. So, please no trail parking here. Yeah, so foot travel only, please. And I'm not at all surprised. So, let's go down to, let's go down to the Dane Hill Road? No. Let's keep going to Archertown Road. So, I think and I had a lot of matches with him, but I think the one that was like the world record one for all of our, Dad and I taught, I think he had over 1,500 students in the 20 years. Really devoted students, guys that are still with him, guys that have been with him for 20 years. And Mark and I ended up starting around 8:30 p.m. and going until 1 a.m. And no one tapped, so Dad just stuck around, and a few other guys stuck around too. So there were a bunch of us there, a bunch of people there watching us go, and the blending of sweat and blood and tears and screaming and pain. I mean, it's quite something. Just really magical. I guess the the lifelong bond that he and I will always have from these matches is just, it's really, really strong. That's all I can say about it. But obviously, tapped him out at the end, and another one though I had with Richard, that's a fake name too, was, so Martytown Road, we are looking for a little teeny tiny thing off the side here. We'll try to find it. It's dead end, but we'll try to find it anyway. I ended up nearly biting Richard's toe off, big toe off, and the same thing happened. Man, he was slimy. An active sheriff's deputy, you know, retired military. I don't remember what branch, but you know, we went for a while and ended up. I mean, I drew blood, and that finally ended the match, and we were like 4 hours in, just both exhausted. And he honestly was like, "That's fair. I put the toe right next to your mouth, and you know, even though it's probably not something that you should be doing. I think it's Country Road 100." Everyone agreed. Good match. Good match. And there's been a couple other situations, you know, with broken fingers, broken toes, et cetera, et cetera. And this is the one. County Road 100. County Road 100, it doesn't even go anywhere. It goes like 100 yards. 100 yards. But that's Town Road 100 here, but it's on the label as County Road 100. What is it here? Unlabeled. What I mentioned about all these from a philosophical standpoint is the importance of kind of like presence, bringing your, oh, hold on, see if this is even open to us anymore. So it looks like, oh, there it is. It shows as a Class 6 road here. I'm not really seeing that. I'm not really seeing that at all. This thing isn't even worth going into because honestly, it dead ends on all the maps. Yeah, this is stupid. Okay, so it is Class 6 from this point on, but then it ends. And it's going to be someone's house. There's no point even going down this road. Oh well. It was fun. We all had a good time. But next one we're going to do is this last one of our trip before we go home. We're going to go down Norris Road, and then we're going to take Tillotson Fats. I hope that's someone's name. Road. Norris Road's a Class 6. Tillotson is just unpaved. The reason why I share these stories is the importance of being really present. Kind of, you know, it's not about the whole appreciating every moment. It's not about trying your best. It's just about presence and sort of like. And I've adopted this when I get into task mode. Like I don't listen to podcasts or radio shows or music when I'm working on work. I get in a zone and I'm highly productive in that moment. I don't multitask. I don't, you know, F around. I don't like being distracted. I can be distracted, but I'll be less productive. And I think a lot of that just comes from observing people's mistakes they make when they're not like 100% A, committed, but B, focused. Like when you go for that jump, or when you go to attack someone, or when you go to dodge a sword, and you're supposed to be not thinking about what you're having for dinner after you leave, or not thinking that I closed the garage door, you know, that brought a lot inside of me of just presence. And I still hold on to that today. Am I always 100% present? Of course not. There's another road here, but it's not on my map. Very odd. And I just feel like, oh, it's a driveway anyway. I just feel like the life lesson that gave me has really helped me. This is supposedly a Class 6 road, but I'm not seeing it. Oh, hook line though. It might dead end. It's showing all of Norris Road as Class 6, and I can tell you for sure this is definitely plowed. It says north dead ends anyway, except for if you take this Blackberry Hill Road on the left. And I think that, I believe that the reason I've been so successful at the thing I just told you guys all to do, just casually, just give it all your all, focus, be ever present, always be front of mind, etc., etc. I don't think that you can read a book or watch my video and just become 100% present all the time in the task at hand or the thing you're doing. It's almost like watching TV and playing with your phone, or eating and not playing on your phone. You should probably guys are seeing a trend here. Okay, so this does end. That's an address. So we're not gonna go down there, although I'd love to. Because it does go on as a trail. The Zuma does a good job, by the way, pulling in all these roads. Like, TomTom wouldn't display these lower class roads. All right, so the last one, we're gonna take on Archertown here, and then take on Fats Road, Thompson Fats. I really think that those of you that have done, sure, computer programming is not my first example. I'm giving it out because I know a lot of people that own BMWs probably are in technology world. But no, I actually don't think that's my crediting. My crediting is reshingling roofs, building decks, repairing fences, martial arts, fighting, surfing is a big one. Surfing in hurricanes, surfing, in crazy conditions with shallow water and, rocks and shit. I think physical acts. Let's say you are, a first responder, high stress, physical acts in adverse or extreme conditions, when margin of error is very slim. You have to be focused. You have to have gotten plenty of sleep. You can't take your home life with you. You've got to let all that go. Military service, but like in a high stress scenario, these are all things that I think work that muscle of teaching you. Let's let me just keep going straight on this. That teach you how to hone in. I'm sorry it's so dark. That 100% focus, that ever presence, that front of mind, that clarity, that ability to overcome an adverse scenario in, with little to no help. It doesn't make you a better computer programmer or a better painter or a better artist or a better driver or a better motorcyclist. Yeah, of course it does. But you need to expose yourself to that stress. I think maybe like track days are probably a good example of that for my audience. Going to a track day with a shitty bike, a safe bike, but a shitty bike where you have to really work, an older bike with old suspension and just bitch of steering, where you got to really work at it, will condition that thing. And then also it's really hot. And also there's someone chasing after you with a gun. It sounds crazy, but it's so easy to say, oh yeah, just focus more. But you can't just focus more. That's why some people smoke pot or do caffeine or smoke cigarettes. Like, you can have chemical aids. You can have certain lighting in your house. You can have, blackout curtains. There's all kinds of things you can do. So that says road. What is going on here? That keeps going, but what is this road? What is this? That says road closed. Oh man, I love this. Oh, this is you go around it and you die kind of a road. Man. I'm gonna pause a second. I'm gonna look over that. But like sometimes they give you like a little margin of error if you're on like a bicycle or a walking path, you can walk around it. They didn't give you any of that. They basically said, no, we mean it. This road, which is called High Bridge Road, right? I don't think it's even named on here. I'll look at the map. But this road is, bro, it's closed. Do not come down here. This is like a road you die on. I start looking over my back here. Oh, the bridge is in such terrible condition that this bridge is just completely falling apart. So they're just saying the bridge isn't safe anymore and there's no point. It's a Class 6 road. It's not a maintained road. And so therefore, we're not even going to... But I want to find the other side of the road now. Let's go to the other side of the road and see if we can get the other side of it. So this goes up to... Where does this go? Oh, we have to go back to Archer Town and then take a left. Let's do that. I gotta turn around. Well, I'm not going to do that. Not tonight. We got to get home. It's almost dark. So I firmly believe that ability... Yeah, there's High Bridge. We're going to jump up to 25A in a second. These aren't Class 6 roads. These are just dirt roads. Those abilities that to be successful in that, it just requires very, I'm not going to say training, it just requires certain experiences that put you at your limits. And if you've been to like boot camp, I haven't served, so please don't think I'm trying to steal anyone's valor here. I'm here to tell you that the childhood I had was incredibly extreme. But like Fish was saying, if you've been to boot camp, you probably got a taste of that. If you've been to more extreme combat training, you have, and I can see it in people's eyes. I can see that in people's eyes when someone was a Ranger or a SEAL or a Green Beret. You can see the intensity they have. It is, it's special. You can tell. And back to the finish my thought there of why I'm not trying to steal anyone's honor here or valor. My childhood, getting woken up at odd hours of the night with cold water and being, going out training with my dad, running on the beach till I threw up, scaling houses and buildings and walls, grappling matches for 6 hours, just Sunday morning, 6 a.m., city parks, just busting ass in the cold, in the snow. Just crazy shit. Getting attacked randomly on the street by my students. Broken bones, watching a guy get scalped, and doing that kind of training for 20 hours a week. I didn't go through boot camp. I didn't go through SEAL training. I didn't jump out of a helicopter. But I certainly have, and maybe I've lost it, but I certainly feel like I have a different life outlook than a lot of people, closer to someone who served, without me saying, because I know many of you did, without me saying that I went through what you went through. I'm never going to say that. And many of you are probably asking how to finish this philosophy video about the focus and stuff. Am I still friends with my dad? Of course I am. Great friends. He's my best friend. And everyone that I've trained with will always be a partner, a brother. We see each other in airports and malls and coffee shops and gyms. It's like it's like a brother. It's like a family member you haven't seen for a while, but yet you don't have to talk very much because you don't you just roll back into where you were when you last saw them. And it only comes from spending 20 hours a week sweating and bleeding with these guys and girls, you know, for years. So anyway, I think that this one is a really good one to strive for. But as far as the application of it, especially if you're not like in the workforce anymore, not having to defend yourself or having to do something with your hands or write a book or something, I think that the application of it is probably lost on anyone that's, you know, up there in age, that's just looking to retire and have a peaceful existence. And I remember just one last thing I'll tell you about this kind of philosophy before I end it, because we're back on pavement now. I invited a couple of friends over because when I was slaughtering some hogs, and I never slaughtered hogs before, but I got four hogs, and I was going to, it was fall, I was going to slaughter them and totally take them down and butcher and do I did the whole thing. So I did the slaughtering, the dressing, the hanging, to let the meat kind of loosen up. All the processing was done by me, the curing, everything. Sausage making, blood sausage, all that was done by me. They had cheese, I did everything. The two guys that came over to help me, because they're heavy hogs, I needed help hoisting them up. I didn't have a pulley system in place for my tree. I put a tarp down, came out in my, you know, swimming trunks, and so this is graphic, trigger warning, I guess, for anyone that's not into eating meat, so I apologize. But, you know, I get behind the hog, shoot it in the head, cut its throat, start collecting the blood, and then I put the rope around his feet, and then I trigger my friend, hey, can you help me hoist it up? He knows me as an engineering project manager, a technical program manager, an engineering manager, you know, a manager of technical people, of interns, running our hackathons. And he was like, when you told me you were going to do this, like, I actually showed up not thinking you'd go through with it, because you said you've never done this before. He said, but he's like, almost like, I think you're psycho now, because you just were able to kill that animal so swiftly without any hesitation. And I'm like, well, back to thought, word, and deed. I said I was going to do it. I told you I was going to do it. I committed to doing it. I focused in on the act. I said a prayer, and I did it. Even though I'd spent, you know, 7-8 months with these hogs. And I didn't go into all this stuff I wanted to do with you guys with him, but I knew in my heart it's a byproduct of all the stuff that I did growing up. And that's cow shit. I'll leave it there. So it was kind of a dark video, a boring video, but I had fun talking to you guys. Next one, I'll talk about some more fun stuff. Hope you're enjoying these. I seriously do. Thank you for watching. But I'm going to get home, have some dinner, get shepherd's pie tonight, have a beer with Heather, and put the baby to bed. And then start. Tomorrow we're going to Canada. Get some cheese curds, some poutine, and some ice cider, some ice wine. And then get the baby's picture in front of the Canada sign, because she's visiting 9 countries this month. See you guys later.